beans. It reminded me about the album Something Fresh, where we had put our famous tofu spread recipe from the Niatawana Inn on that same CD. So I said, well, why don't I do that song tonight? So I'm going to see if I can remember it. I remember the recipe. I asked Seth, he doesn't remember the music. I know what's in it, tofu. So I'm going to set it up a little bit of why it's a resilient thing, is that resilience is often multi-layered in different stages. And so somebody has to grow the beans somewhere, and they grow them in Michigan, so there's soybeans. I suspect, they grow a lot of soybeans in the thumb, maybe in southeastern Michigan, but, resilience is about nestedness, about, somebody does something here and you do something there, and so somebody's growing beans for our cooperative. We make fresh tofu. We have a local economic thing going on where we actually pay people to take beans that somebody else grows. We make them. That ties us together with the growers, gets local money into our economy, and we get a really good product. So if you're going to make a tofu spread, you really got to go to Oriana Food Co-op, which is a food co-op to begin with, which is a great thing. Yay for co-ops. Yay. And buy really fresh tofu. So this recipe is made with the freshest tofu possible, grown in Michigan, made at Oriana, purchased at Oriana, and then I'll tell you about how we make it.
Awesome. So, Something Fresh is available out there. It's a fundraiser for seeds. Bob submitted the recipe and I came up with this song. It goes a little something like this. I'm talking about tofu. I'm talking about tofu. I'm talking about tofu, Merlin. It's magical. It's highly versatile. It's protein rich. Comes in a variety of textures. I guess I mean textures. But you gotta mix it up.
You gotta make sure it's organic.
You gotta make sure it's organic. Do the wiggle. Irvin Magic Johnson eats a lot of tofu. That's what I heard anyway from Josh Stoltz. I heard that he learned it from Kareem, who learned it from Bruce Lee. I heard that from Dave Shidley, who's tapped into the power of infinity. And our man Bob Russell has a boss tofu spread recipe. You know Bob and Sally, they're more than a little bit responsible for the power of community. Pioneers, visionaries, up at the Niatawana Inn on Old Mission. It's a peninsula within a peninsula within a peninsula within a peninsula, way in there, enlightened and peninsulated. And I think if you guys made a little bit of noise, Bob might even share that sacred tofu spread recipe.
You definitely should go buy the CD. In the meantime, you have to go down to do this. You have to go to Oriana Food Co-op, 10th and Lake. Buy yourself a pretty big chunk. Depends on how much you like it. You'll like it a lot, so I would buy a really big chunk of tofu. Fresh, beautiful tofu from the food cooperative. And what you need to do then is to get a pretty big bowl with your really pretty big chunk of tofu and squeeze all the water out of the tofu into another bowl. Then you have to crumble it up really fine into that big bowl. All the water's gone, the tofu's crumbled into it. That's your tofu mixture. Organic tofu grown in the state of Michigan, great stuff. To add to that, to make it taste really good, find somebody. The Isadora Farms grows the greatest red peppers, as I recall. Get some, cut up some. All this stuff has to be cut up really the same size. That's the key to this recipe. No big chunks, no little chunks. All these little chunks of red pepper, green pepper, onions, celery, carrots, garlic, all the same size, and throw them in and mix it all together. Then you got this mixture of wonderful organic tofu with all this great locally grown veg. Great stuff, but that's not where it ends. Then you got to add some nutritional yeast to it, which is growing across the lake in Milwaukee, growing on, just for us, actually. I like it. Red Star Yeast Company.